Congratulations on the win. How are you feeling?
Well, I will have to apologise to start. They numbed my lip, so it's hard to understand because I'm Welsh anyway, and I've also got a numb lip now and a bruised eye, so I'll try and be as coherent as possible. But I feel good. Tough opponent, tough fight, but learned experience, and I had a solid win, so I'm happy.
I actually think maybe numbing your lips slowed it down a little bit, so it's maybe easier to hear you.
Well, I've spent the last 6 months in California in Team Alpha Male, so I've had Andre Feely tell me to slow and speak more, speak English, he tells me over and over again, even though he's American. So big shout out, Andre, for the language improvement.
So was there anything about your opponent that surprised you?
To be fair, he did everything I expected him to do and more. I knew he was going to be a big power shot guy. I knew he was going to throw single shots. I knew he was going to do exactly what he did. I just didn't perform. I felt really good before we walked. I say that. We had a couple of sort of hit and misses. For some reason, I cut a lot less than I did in my last fight. I did the cut with a PI this time, and they really tidied things up, but my recovery just wasn't anywhere near the same. So who knows what happened, but for some reason, I caught him with a good shot to start. My pressure was there, and I felt like I was going to get that first round win. And then my gas tank just faded off, and it's a good job. I've got the coaches I do, and I've spent the camp I did in Team Alpha Male because my wrestling was legit, and I just controlled him. I dominated. I controlled the positions. And like I said, for some reason, for someone who aims himself as a striker, my striking wasn't quite there, but it was a solid win. I'm happy with the win. He's a legit guy. He was 8-0. Now he's 8-1. And all the record books are going to know in 2 years is that Mason Jones beat David Onama. That's all that matters.
That's true, because you guys always come in here and say things you don't like about your performance, and we aren't going to remember that. We're just going to remember who wins.
Of course.
How long do you think you're going to need to recover when you want to get back in there?
So I haven't actually seen my girlfriend or my family since pretty much March. We had a week in between. So I'm looking forward to going home and seeing my girlfriend, seeing my family. And then I'm going to spend some time home training, enjoy Christmas. And then I'm going to ship back out to Team Alpha Male in January, get back out there, train. I'm hoping for a sponsorship that's been in the books to come through, and then I can look to lease a house in Sacramento, and then my coaches can come out. When they come out, then that means that I can get my team there and really sort of boost that to a next level. And I think it's a win-win. Team Alpha Male's got one of the best teams in the world when it comes to sparring partners, people that are really starting to come through. Mike Malott with his 37-second contender win, Slava with his second round TKO, Andre Feely, Darren Elkins, Chris Gonzalez. That's just guys close to my weight. Max Griffin, and then you've got the Bantams. It's a team that is literally getting ready to really break through and show the world what I can do. I just really want to balance that out with my team, and if I can get this roving camp going, then I can really show that I'm a number one contender. For some reason, I really do feel like my last performances that I've had in the UFC, I haven't quite been able to show what I can do. My debut, I lost a close decision to Mike. My second fight, I got robbed by Patty, who I hope gets cut. I'm not a fan of that Brazilian. Obviously, I fought a legit guy in David and I had a win, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. So it is what it is. The next one, I'm going to be show exactly what a star I can be. My whole mentality in the UFC is to show that I can do the impossible. Like I said, I'm here to punch a hole in the sky. That's what I want to do. I want to show that I can do the impossible. So big shout out.
One of the big storylines this week was Paulo Costa's weight. We all in the media, and I think fans, really focused on that. How did you guys, as fighters fighting specifically on the same card, how did you guys feel about that?
As a fighter, you've got to do two things. That's all we've talked about this so many times. You've got to do two things. That's pass your medicals and make weight. You don't have to do anything else. If I don't want to train, then the UFC ain't going to turn around and be like, oh, you need to train for this fight. Diego Sanchez did it for years, do you know what I mean? You don't have to do it. All you have to do is make weight and pass your medicals. Costa's just looks like he's on a holiday. So I hope Vettori beats him, but Costa's a legit guy, and he's coming in at 205 pounds. He's going to have a lot of explosive power, and I really do think that weight advantage is going to make a big difference. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. If someone fails weight by 5 pounds, you're annoyed. If someone fails weight by 20 odd pounds and where they've moved it, then did you even try?
Do you think we're going to see this more with fighters changing weight classes in the middle of fight week?
I hope not. I'm one of those people, I think, if it come down to it, I'd just be adamant and refuse to fight. Fight is always fight, but at the end of the day, I'm not here to be taken advantage of. And that extra 20 pounds is ridiculous advantage. Especially like when you're that big, it's not so much a difference, but I know as a lightweight, when I put on 5 pounds, I hit twice as hard. Like I said, my last fight, I felt a lot bigger, and I think I'm going to try and change my weight cut again and try and come in a little bit heavier than I did, because ridiculously, I recovered better. So I don't know, we need to find the difference. I'm going to be in touch with the PI, because that's, in my opinion, the PI is one of the best things the UFC's ever done. I take full advantage of that, and that it's insane. Any fighters coming through to the UFC, as soon as you sign, get in touch with the PI and beg, borrow, whatever you can, get as much from the UFC as you can and as much assistance you can, because they help take you to a new level and they make everything a lot easier. So for me, I've got close links to them, and we're going to rebuild again and try and sort this out.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Sorry.
Trying to do just a couple more. Trying to do the math in my head. So if you said you hadn't been home, you hadn't seen family in March, does that mean you stayed in the country after the Patrick fight?
I had a week, but with traveling and stuff, I didn't. You know what I mean? It was just, I always say 6 months, but I had I think it was a week or 9 days in 6 months. So I'm making it worse than it is, but still a lot.
Same difference, though.
Same difference.
Practically. How tough is that to be away from friends and family and loved ones? I know it's obviously you're doing what you feel you best do for your career, but how tough is that to be away for so long?
So I'm super lucky in having the girlfriend I have. She fought in the GB Olympic team, competed all over the world, and was one of the rising stars in Olympic Taekwondo. So she knows what it takes to be a fighter, and she knows how cutthroat this world is. So when I said to her, I need to go back, she just said, okay. When obviously it's been tough when we're out there, but she understands. And like I said to her after this fight, I said, look, if I can get David out there early, I said, I'm probably going to fight again straight away. I'm going to try and turn around quick. And she said, okay, it's no problem. Like she understands. She knows this is what it takes to be the number one in the world. And I am so much better than what I've showed. My coaches know, Team Alpha Male know. It's just for some reason I'm having teething problems, and I'm not quite hitting my full swing. But that just excites me, because you wait until I start smoking top 10 guys. That's just yet to come. I'm 26. I've got a few years to improve, and I finally got my first win. So that's all that matters. I got to win. Let's rebuild, and let's knock some people out.
Yeah, you kind of, that's it. You mentioned it. You finally got that first win, so obviously the work paid off. And now I kind of hear you mention, you talked about the PI. So is that already in the game plan going forward, that you're planning already to maybe stick around some longer so you can get more work with the PI, so that you could try to keep building off what you've built right now?
So what we've done so far, what we've done so far is that 6 weeks out, every time before I fight, I go to the PI for testing. And we sort of try and get results that can carry forwards, so that we can see the difference. So this time we found out my muscle mass was higher, my fat percentage was lower. So it's one of the best high-tech facilities in the world that fighters have access to. If you're not using it, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? So we're going to improve. And do you know what I mean? I'm trying to become the Ivan Drago of UFC. Do you know what I mean? Just turn into a half machine. So we're going there.
And you mentioned, I'm sorry if I heard you wrong, talking about the game plan, you said the game plan, or at least you thought was going to be in that you would be controlling with your wrestling, but it turned out that, striking was the difference. But was striking what you had planned for him?
So I was going to knock him out. I come out, I did exactly what I thought I was going to do, and I rocked him in 5 seconds, I think. The first exchange, or the second exchange, I rocked him hard, and his eyes rolled, and I was like, oh, I've got him. Toast. So I started pressuring in, and then for some reason, it was something like the second or third exchange, it just stopped. My breathing went funny, and I just couldn't breathe. My gas tank sort of dissolved, and one of the best things I've ever had in the fight game since I made my I made my MMA debut, was a good gas tank that I smoked everyone with. I train, I can smoke everyone with my gas tank. And for some reason, it just felt like I was breathing through sand. So I fought Mike Tavis. I felt like I was running through sand this one time. I felt like I was breathing through sand. So we'll improve. We'll get better. I still got a solid win. And I do want to give shout out to David. Not only did he take the fight on such short notice, he come with a OG performance, and he did very, very good. He hit hard, he did damage, and big shout out to that guy. So we had a little bit of banter in the fight, which I loved. I do wish I could grab him before we leave now, because I do want to say thank you for turning up. And thanks for an enjoyable fight. Like, he come to fight, and I love fighters who come to fight. Like, I'm one of those fighters, I want to walk through fire just to stay warm. Like, that's what I like doing. I like being entertaining, and I like firefights. And yeah, wait and see. Wait and see. A Mason Jones performance is always fun.
And last for me, I guess, what's the immediate next step? Are you heading back home to spend time with family, or you're going to give yourself a little bit of time, or are you back into the gym?
So I fly home tomorrow, back to the UK. I'll be back in the gym Monday, but that's holiday for me. So I want to get back lifting, and I want to get back sorting some stuff out, some technical things. I got a little niggle in my knee that showed in that fight on the wrestling exchanges. There's a couple of times where I sort of had him pinned, and my knee sort of went a little bit dodgy and let him back up. So I need to get that fixed. But again, big shout out to David for taking the fight. And if Alan Patrick's watching, I hope you get cut, and I hope you never fight in UFC again. That guy is literally, I don't want to say, but he doesn't deserve the fight. He signed against me with no intentions of fighting. He pulled out on 10 days, and literally when he pulled, he told him he'd be clear literally by November. So the guy had no intentions of fighting me. I smashed him in the first fight, and he found a way out, which is my fault. And obviously this fight, he didn't have any intentions of fighting me. So I hope he gets cut, and I hope he ends up getting stuck in Brazil with all them suitcases he made, which are also abysmal.
But you know, the UFC loves heat. So now, if the UFC tried to set that up again, are you completely against it?
He's just not going to turn up. I'll happily knock him out. The guy just doesn't want to turn up. Like, he cost me, I don't know how much money by taking half my purse in the first fight that I dominated. And in this fight, I prepared again for another fight. They pushed me back, which cost me money. And then when I managed to fight, he pulled out in the last second possible. And then was still putting posts up that he was fighting 5 days out, even though he pulled on a 10-day notice. Like, the guy had no intention of fighting. I just hope he gets cut. I hope he does.
Hey, Mason, congrats on the victory.
Mate, quick one. I love those sunglasses. They're super cool. Big fan.
Appreciate that. Now, Michael Bisping, the Hall of Famer, former title champion, he calls you a contender, a future champion in this division. When you hear that, how does that make you feel?
Well, it sets a standard. I know I'm a future contender. I feel like I've showed 10, 15% of what I can do in every single one of these fights. The Mike Davis fight, my legs were heavy, but I showed I had good hands, and my boxing was good. The Alan Patrick fight, it showed that I was literally ready. I was in first gear all the way through, and it showed that I am a high-level fighter. And that fight then, he showed I can wrestle, even if my gas tank dissolved and we needed to get into a firefight. It showed that I'm better. So we've showed all of it. We just need to put it all together and show that I'm a knockout contender. I'm going to start tearing through people. It's just a matter of time. So, yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Bisping. I never have heroes. I only ever have targets. I've had that since I was probably about 7 years age. I've always said the same thing. No heroes, only targets. But Bisping was one of the ones who really broke down the door. He was the first UK fighter to win a world title. He really opened the corridor up and set the standard. And then you had people like Conor McGregor who really showed what they can do in this sport. So he's up there in the history books for me, and he's someone who I've always wanted to work with and someone I'm so happy to have respect for. So, yeah, when he says stuff like that, obviously it just means I need to work harder.
And to piggyback off that, this is the last question. You were 10-0 before your UFC debut, Cage Warriors champion, fellow Cage Warriors champions making his UFC debut, UFC 268, Ian Gary. What advice do you have for him making his UFC debut?
Show how bright you can shine. Ian's a soldier. He's doing his own thing, and I'm happy to see him do well. And I hope he gets a nice knockout reel sort of finish, the same as Paddy did. I like seeing these British guys do well because all it does is just show what British people can do in this sport. Obviously, if any of them want to come down and step into my division and step against me, then it's a different cut of fish. But I like seeing British guys do well. I do. So I wish Ian Gary all the best, and I really hope that he comes out and shows the world what he can do. All good? Thanks for the questions. And yeah, before we go, nice bruise. I'm used to bruising up, so you'll have to get used to this in the media because I always end up looking bruised up after a fight. But yeah, thanks for the questions and have a good day.